Alright, this is primarily going to be an update on the S-10, a couple little things I wanted to get done to it. But before I get into that video, had several people asking me about the Roots Blown LS deal. I've almost given up on the idea of getting a Nova. They're just crazy high priced. If I can find a roller for 10 grand or less, it'd pretty much be a miracle if it was in any good shape. About everyone's wanting around 12,000–13,000. It's even hard to get a roller. Everyone's usually done. No one has a nice roller for sale usually. So I think I've about given up on that. What I think I am going to do, and it's because I already have it and I've always wanted to do it, is that two-door Rambler American wagon I have. I'd really like to just do it. It's something I've wanted to build since I was 16 years old. And I just never gotten around to it. I get all these other projects and end up working on them. I think it's time I get that project going and get my dream of getting that car going. As funny as that sounds, I always wanted that Rambler American wagon going. But what needs to happen to that in order to get rolling is I need to switch over to a Mustang 2 style front suspension just so I can control springs better, better suspension geometry, and ease of getting parts. It's really not that hard of a conversion on it. Several people have done it. And then I need to whack out the inner fenders just a little bit to clearance for the LS engine. I did buy this a while back, the Holley Dominator, to control the ECU on that engine. So I'm still very much wanting to get it done. I haven't done anything else to the engine because I'm waiting to figure out exactly what I'm going to do with it so I can put the right camshaft in it. I really would like to go with like a G-Force 5-speed or something like that in it, something I can just bang gears on and have fun. But in order for me to work on that, I think I'm going to have to sell the S-10. That being said, I don't want to give my S-10 away. I don't have to sell my S-10. But if I do get it sold, it's probably going to have to be for about $25,000. It might seem high to some people, and some people probably say, I can build that same truck for, I don't know, $500. There's all kinds of YouTube warriors out there that can do stuff better than anybody else, cheaper than anybody else, but never have. That's fine. If you can, do it. But for what I have in this truck and the time, I know I'll never get my time back out of it. I think $25,000 is probably about what it's probably worth. I have a lot of time in it, a lot of thinking things through, making it right. I made this truck for me. I didn't make it to sell. So that's something else. I don't like junk, and especially this truck is put together very well in my opinion. It's not perfect. I'm never going to say it's perfect. It's got rock chips. It's had new new rocker panels, new cab corners put in it professionally. The whole frame's been completely sanded, painted. There is a little bit of kind of scaly looking stuff on the frame just because when the rust came off, that's what was there. But the car has always been, from what I've seen, a Midwest car. The bed is not rotted out that I have seen. I've had the flares off the side. It's pretty clean under there. There was one little spot of rust on the bed that was filled. The rust was completely cut out, but it wasn't on the outside part. It was on the inner fender part. But other than that, I haven't seen any rust on the truck, and if any rust I found was immediately fixed right after I got it. So it's a solid truck. So if anyone's interested, $25,000 is my price on it. I may end up putting it on eBay. May wait till spring. I'm not sure, but I can't really work on my Rambler outside. And there's no room left in the shop with the Studebaker and the race cars. And I got my dad's 55 Chevys up here sitting on the lift. It's winterized right now. So it'll be sitting up there till springtime comes and get it out again and play with it. But anyways, this is basically an update on the S-10, so take a look at that. Alright, here we are under the S-10 again. Been a while since I've worked on this thing. Drove it here and there. One of the problems that I always have with this truck, ever since I've swapped to the bigger engine, is if I go to a gas station after driving it a while and go to restart it, it cranks over extremely slow. So I'm not sure what brand that starter is. I know it's not a GM. I think it's something I just bought on eBay. So I'm upping it to this one here. It might be a little overkill, but this one here is supposed to be good for high compression ratio engines. And hopefully this one here will cause her to start over real good when she gets hot. So I'm going to go ahead and throw it in now. Alright, I got the starter out here. This is the old one. It says made in China. I don't think it's a GM starter, though. I don't see any markings on it whatsoever. And here's a new one. One thing that might help me is that this new one doesn't have that long snout, so it might go in the truck easier. This one's a little bit of a fight for me, so put this one in and see what happens. Alright, there it is installed. Fit really good. Actually, it was easier to get in than the old one because that snout wasn't hanging off of this one. And you can clock this one in different positions if you want, but the one it comes with was basically stock LS configuration. So it's in. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and fire it up for the first time. We'll see what it sounds like. They did give me a shim. I hope I don't have to put it in. The real test will be after I drive it a while and then get gas, but that won't be today. So see what she sounds like. The other starter, so hopefully it'll stay the same when it gets hot. It's a lot of cold-blooded, but it'll warm up and sound better. Alright, the other thing I want to do this thing is get rid of this line here and here. This one here especially just does not look right. So I'm going to run it down here and across. Got me some vibrant black braided hose. I'm going to use that, and I bought a few fittings because these aren't going to go where I need these to. So start by laying out these fittings first, put one hose on it, and then figure out where I'm going to cut it. Then make some brackets to go in there and hold the hose. Alright, I'm starting to lay out my new vent breather line here. Pretty easy to do this stuff. Just first thing I do is put the hose on one end of the fitting, then run it where I want and put another my other fitting over there, and I'll join up there. But I'm going to put some brackets coming off of here and over here if you can see it. So I'm going to make my brackets first before I cut this hose, and I'll show you how I make those. Alright, what I start off with on my bracket is this stuff. I just went ahead and cut it out to my rough shape. It's a Delrin plastic. It's a real hard plastic. You can drill it, tap it, machine it. It does have a little bit of give if you machine it down thin enough. So that's what I'm going to end up using to make these brackets. Alright, got my little clamps done here. Came out pretty good. Went over to the belt sander and kind of rounded some of the edges on it. Let's go see how they work. Alright, got the two brackets on there. They look pretty good. I'm going to put a little bit longer bolts in them, but for now they're working for my measurements. And then my next step, I just got to cut this hose to length right there, and then this one will be done. I'll do that tomorrow and then finish this one up. Alright, here is the final product. Got the hoses all on, clamped in. Ended up shortening that hose up just a little bit. Really cleaned the engine bay up, in my opinion, quite a bit. Of course, the centerpiece I wanted to be that intake, as it's just very unique and cool looking. Got a lot of time in getting it to work right, and my tuner Pete got a lot in getting it tuned right. Well, thanks for taking your time to watch this episode. Just like I said, just a couple little things I did to it, and I got a couple little piddly things I'd like to get done. Some paint I want to touch up underneath of it, where I used Rust-Oleum primer and did not use Rust-Oleum paint. Those don't mix. The paint falls off of primer because Rust-Oleum is an oil-based paint. So I got to touch up a couple of things like the battery box. I think there's one other item I want to get touched up on it. So anyways, that's going to do it for this episode, and thanks for watching, and as always, please like and subscribe.